All right, this past week we did a few things in our robotics session. First, we took a look at the Fondy Heat website once again, and then we did some things with the Arduino simulator in BYOB, and then we hooked up our actual brain boards and programmed some LED lights, and we're going to go over that real quickly here in this online lesson. So first, the Fondy Heat website, the way you get there is fondyheat.com. You put that up here in the address bar of whatever browser you're using and push enter, and it will bring you to this website. And we've got a home page here, and on the home page there's not a lot. I've just got a welcome here. There's a contact us button, and you can push this button. It will bring you to a page where you can contact me. Got a picture of my robot here and the big Fondy Heat logo. But that's about it on the home page. On the files page, however, if you click there on files, this is the important stuff. For BYOB, if you haven't downloaded that at home yet, this is where you get it. Just click on this link here. If for some reason it's not working, try this link. It should get you there. If you've got a Mac, download this version of BYOB. By the way, BYOB stands for Build Your Own Blocks. It's a version of Scratch. When you have it installed on whatever version of computer you're using, download this Arduino simulator program. This is going to bring you out to what's called a SkyDrive. Go out there and click download at the top of the page after you click this link. Okay. Also on this page is a place for you to download RoboBlocks. RoboBlocks is the version of Scratch that we're going to use to program our actual robot, and it looks an awful lot like your version of BYOB. Another thing to pay attention to here on the Fondy Heat files page is the username and password for our SkyDrive that we've got set up for Fondy Heat. The SkyDrive is kind of nice for Fondy Heat because you can save things to our SkyDrive. Let's say you're working on something at school and you want to work on it at home as well. Well, from school you can upload that to the SkyDrive using this username and password, upload it to your folder, your team's folder on the SkyDrive, and you'll have access to it at home. So those are important things on the Fondy Heat website under the files section. Here under the lessons section, well, that's where you found this video. You're going to find videos of each week's lesson here under lessons. So after that, we opened BYOB, and then we opened the Arduino Simulator 2 program, which you have just downloaded, and this comes up. If it says something like sharing has been enabled, just go ahead and push OK on that. Now we've got all these scripts that are written here. These are the scripts that make up the Arduino simulator, so we don't want to mess with that. Let's just push on robot scripts down in this pane right down here, and this should look familiar to you. Now this button here, the broadcast turn robot, will turn the robot. It'll point it in whatever direction your mouse is pointed, and then I'm going to drag my robot and I'm going to try to do this challenge here. We found out that it's not so easy to get our robot to spin around, so we're just going to drive out here, stop for a second, and then back up. So just for the sake of speeding up this video a little bit, I wrote the whole script and put it out here. We found out that left motor value 180 and right motor value 0. That's going to make our robot go forward. Most of us on Thursday and Saturday found out it takes about 9.5 seconds for the robot to get out to the dot. And then we stop according to the directions here, and we wait 1 second while we're out there. Then we need to back up, and we know that if we do our left motor at value 0 and our right motor at value 180, we go backwards. Then we're going to back up for 9.5 seconds and then stop our motors so we don't run into the wall. So let's go ahead and double click that stack. We could hit the space bar. It's going to do the same thing, and we should drive out to the dot, and we'll stop there for 1 second and then back up. And once we get to home base, we should see our robot stop. And we do it. Just it worked just the way that we thought it would. All right. I'm going to take this whole stack. I'm going to throw it away. You can see this note right here. To enter Arduino mode, press A. I'm going to press my A button, and there we go. We go into Arduino mode. And I'm going to write my scripts here for my Arduino mode under the Brainboard sprite. So I'm going to click on this Brainboard sprite, and it brings up a nice clean slate for me. So the other thing we did is we learned to program our LEDs. And we find our LED commands under the looks section, and you can see we've got an LED for analog command, and we've got a digital LED command. We learned that analog means something on the order of a light that you can dim. Think about a light dimmer switch where it's got all sorts of values in between off and on. But a digital light or digital LED is more like a regular light switch where it's either all the way off or all the way on. We'll learn about analog LEDs a little bit later. I'm going to put that one in the trash, but for now, I'm just going to turn off my digital LED 2 here in my simulator. Right now it's on because it's dark red. If I double-click my digital LED 2 and set the value to 0, you see it turns off. Let's duplicate this block and try to turn off digital LED 3. And you can see that that turns off. Let's take this and go to another level with it. Let's duplicate this and turn that one on there, and duplicate this again. Duplicate this block, and we're going to turn on LED 3 there. So what's going to happen here is we're going to turn off 2 and turn on 3. And we're going to set up a little pattern with that by waiting periods of time between those two setups of LEDs. So now when I click this stack, we should see LED 2 go off, LED 3 on for a second, and then LED 3 off and LED 2 on for a second. Let's repeat that forever. Pull out a forever loop here, and let's double click that, and you can see that I've created a little pattern of lights. And many of us wrote real interesting patterns of light in the Arduino simulator here, and I suggest you do that at home as well. All right, so we've got the other version of Scratch open now, and you can see it looks almost like the BYOB. This one is called RoboBlocks, and this is the one that's actually going to make your robot do what you tell it to do. So this is where we're going to be programming the real robot. We'll do the simulation over in the BYOB. You can see it looks a little bit different. Over here on the stage, we've got an icon that says Robot Not Connected, and also we don't have any sprites set up yet, so we really don't have any commands that we're able to do much with. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But first we want to hook up our robot, and I'll have some instructions posted elsewhere for hooking up your Bluetooth to the robot. If I was to demonstrate it here during the video, it would take a long time because it makes my computer slow down so much recording video, and I'm not really able to do it. But I do have my Bluetooth adapter in now, and I've got my robot on, and they are both flashing quickly. And I've got my icon here that says Robot Not Connected. To connect to the robot, I find whatever COM port my Bluetooth set up, and that will be in the instructions, and I right-click the Robot Not Connected, and I select USB serial port, and in my case, it set itself up on COM 18. Now, very likely, your robot is going to be set up on a much lower number than 18. but I have a lot of robots I've been testing on my computer. That's why I've got a high number. Now, you're going to see the flashing pattern on your robot a little bit different. It's going to flash a different pattern after you connect, and then this icon is going to say Robot Connected. Now, the way we write a script, at least a LED script for our robot, is we need to have a sprite out on the stage. So I'm just going to click here and get a surprise sprite. And it looks like I got a funny looking star. And I'm going to go to my looks portion, just like I did in BYOB. And there's our digital LED, and there's our analog LED. Let's pull out a digital LED, and I'm going to turn on my LED number 2. Of course, we have to have an LED plugged into our brain board on port number 2. You'll see that number 2 on the brain board. And you want to plug in an LED, and remember that the black wire always goes towards the outside of the board. The brown wire goes towards the inside of the board. Go ahead and plug in your LED, and you can do it while the device is on. That's okay. If you get it in there backwards, it's not the end of the world. It just won't light up. But now if I double-click this digital LED 2, value 1, you should see your real-world LED turn on your robot brain. If you want to turn it off again, go ahead and send it to 0, not a 0, 1. Send it to 0, and it will turn off. Go ahead and build yourself a cool LED pattern. Plug in the 4 LED lights you have to the various ports. You don't want to use ports 7 and 8 or 12 and 13, and you'll notice they're not even listed here. So if you put LEDs in ports 7 and 8 and 12 and 13, they won't light up. Those ports are reserved for motors. And again, it won't hurt anything if you do it, but you won't get any lights to go on and off. So go ahead and build yourself a cool light show with your real-world LEDs and brain board. That's it for this week. Hopefully this was informative for you, and we'll see you next week at Robotics.